I didn't watch the coming attractions either. So.
That was a great show. So I'll fill you guys in.
They never seem to move with a sense of urgency in anything. They're always so...
What is going on? I'm in a race. Does anybody understand?
Welcome to our Amazing Race Week 5 recap show. Spectacular, where we are so excited to be joined by, I'm not going to tell you, John will ruin it like always, so you know the deal. You can follow me over on Twitter. I'm at Reality Recaps.
Hey everyone, John Richardson here. So excited to have Charles from Opposite Worlds. He was the first kind of eliminated from the show, but he watches Amazing Race. He's joining our recap, and we're so excited to have him. You can follow me at Comedy Jonah.
Okay, how you doing? Charles from Opposite Worlds. Yes, I was eliminated, sort of. And you can find me at Charles Haskins 1 on Twitter and Charles Haskins on Facebook.
Well, we are going to catch up with you in just a few seconds, Charles. First, I need to let everybody know, thumbs up and subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you guys are a fan, it really helps support our show, as well as using the Amazon link on the homepage of our website, yourrealityrecaps.com, to start your online shopping. You guys don't pay any more. We get a little bit back. It helps support our shows. But most importantly, we are just five days away from what, John Richardson?
From the end of our Kickstarter pledge. You can share, donate at yourrealityrecaps.com/kick. There's a video that tells you everything that we want to do, so help keep Your Reality Recaps on the air. With expenses, stuff like that, by just sharing, donating to our Kickstarter. Yes. Good times. Good pain.
If you guys have any questions for us about The Amazing Race, any comments during the show, any questions for Charles, if you are watching on our website, just leave them in the chat box below, or if you want them on the screen for the show, leave them on the YouTube page for this show right now. That being said, Charles, how are you doing? How are you feeling? I see crutches.
Yes, I have crutches. I'm out of the cast, finally. And I'm actually in a space boot now. But, recently I just decided to go ahead and get rid of it. So I'm walking around without it. Just trying to, take it one day and try to speed up the healing process, hopefully. I don't know, maybe psychologically. I have no idea.
So, Charles, just for some of the viewers that are watching Amazing Race, maybe didn't catch Opposite Worlds, can you explain a little bit about what happened to your leg and what you're healing from?
Okay, well, actually, I suffered 4 fractures. Broken tibia and broken fibula, and a partial fracture of the tibia at the top. Basically what happened, I was in Opposite Worlds, and I was with another contestant by the name of Jesse, who I guess got overly excited or too overly competitive for the actual event. And he just comes across and just spears me right off the platform. And I don't know, I think I hit the back of the ramp. It was so much momentum that I fell and on the actual mat with my leg in between it. And he's on one side of me, my leg's on the other side, and I just heard a pop. And Luke Tipple said, okay, we're going to go ahead and reset and do it again. I said, oh, there's no reset.
Well, we saw it too, and it happened so fast. I mean, it seemed like you were just up there. You guys were about to do the duel of destiny, right. I think it was. And then,
right.
And then you were off, and it was just like, it was so fast. But how is your relationship with Jesse?
Well, actually, Jesse apologized on Twitter.
Yeah.
Sent me a message saying that he apologized. It wasn't for his intention. Sure. Yeah, then it's real, exactly, right. Yeah. But for face value, I accepted it for what it was. But we haven't had much communication other than that little apology, me saying and me accepting the apology. Outside of that, I haven't had much communication with him, and but I am definitely looking for another round, another crack at Jesse. You know, I don't want.
Ooh.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not.
You heard it
I
here,
don't take
people.
stuff like that lying down. Yes, I don't
Okay.
take that stuff lying down.
Maybe they need to have opposite worlds. You know, we heard from who was on last. Oh, wow. Why did his name just leave my brain? Now he's going to. Who's our spicy, the Latin gay from opposite?
Jeffrey.
Thank you.
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
Wow. So he, I believe, was saying that maybe next season opposite worlds could be different type of worlds. Like, it doesn't need to be future and past. Maybe we should have like a Jesse world versus a Charles world, and you two could be like the leaders of the worlds in battle. That'd be very cool. I would like
that would be actually pretty good. Yeah, I'm actually all set for that one.
Brilliant. Well, we are going to have Charles back on to talk all about opposite worlds again. And we're still working out doing some sort of an opposite world reunion show too. And I should say, speaking of Jeff Fry, who's probably mad at me now, he'll be on our Survivor show on Thursday because he's a huge Survivor fan. But now, let's talk all about what you guys are here for, the amazing race, and oh my god, Brenchel. Because we start the show going right off to Sri Lanka, and I'm instantly already depressed. Where are my 20s? Where are my 20s? Go ahead, that's all I'm saying. I was very depressed with no 20s.
The country girls, kind of acknowledged the 20s and said that they're going to be with them in spirit, right? The girls that you don't like are acknowledging your 20s.
Well, here, behind-the-scene news info.
I didn't have my own behind-the-scenes that you're not going to know about.
Message from the 20s. You can take your "we're going to Sri Lanka" and bring it home and shove it up your asses. Because they hate you. Please, the twins hate the blondes.
My
hate
gosh.
them. Much like every other team. Go ahead, back to you, John.
Another fun-filled show where you're full of love, Eric.
Just for the country girls. Don't like them, So then, fine. Yeah, I mean, I miss my 20s, and then we see Brendan and Rachel are in last place. And here is my question for you guys watching, and for you, Charles and John. Are we behind Brenchel's risk here? Granted, we knew the way that it turned out, but they were in last place. They made a pretty big risk taking a flight that was going to have a connection. That oftentimes ends people's race experience. So, what were your thoughts on it, Charles?
Hey, I thought it was a brilliant move. When they first did it, I said, you know what? Sometimes you just got to go and go for it, especially being in last place already. And so, hey, a brilliant move. I thought that's taking the bulls by the horn right there. That was great.
I agree with Charles. I think it was a bold move, but it was a smart move because you already have a roadblock and 2 detours to do. So what do you have to lose, really? You might as well just take the chance and leap.
Right.
Do it. And as we see, it paid off.
Yeah, it definitely paid off, and I think it was because Rachel was wearing the green sequin shorts, so therefore it is her good luck.
The lucky 4-leaf green.
There was such, so many blanks were filled in for the people that, let's say, follow Miss Cleo, BB. Miss Cleo, I think she just changed his name on Twitter, so I'm not sure what it is now. Pre-season. Okay, pre-season, because if you like spoilers, he kind of had the breakdown of everything that was happening as it was happening live, and none of us knew what happened to Brendan and Rachel as we're following it all play out in real time. We're like, oh no, we thought they were eliminated on the last leg, so now it all makes sense why there weren't pictures of them together at this leg of the race. So just a little tidbit for those that were following the spoilers of the season while it was happening. Now we have that blank filled back in. More behind the scenes.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is that you can. There are places.
We can just sit back, Charles, and just let Eric talk. Just fill us in. Just
okay, go ahead, John. You took over.
No. I don't know any behind the scenes like you.
No, go ahead, John.
Here's what I don't understand, okay? You want me to talk about something, I will. Okay, in the beginning of the episode, everybody's saying, I thought that Team BB was eliminated. What? They're still in the race? Really? I mean, isn't everybody staying at the same hotel in between stops? Why was everybody so shocked that Brenchel was still there?
Well, because the people that check in first then move on to the next step of where they're racing.
Right.
To.
So they get to they're in Malaysia. They get to the pit stop, and then the next morning they start their trip to Sri Lanka. My question is that overnight, isn't everybody in the same spot, whether they're in a tent, a hotel, a cabin?
Well, are they sequestered? Maybe they're sequestered to their actual rooms or something like that once they arrive there.
Oh.
And yeah, so that's what I'm thinking, because that's how it was for us in Opposite Worlds, for the whole casting thing. Once we got there, we were not allowed to go anywhere without permission. So I'm pretty sure it's pretty much the same thing. They get there, they check in, boom, you stay in your room, don't come out until whatever time.
Is that true, Eric?
Yeah, that is what happens on some legs of the race, but on this leg of the race, we saw, that's when they then started going to the airport. Remember, they needed to get tickets, but it was so late at night. So that's what was going on overnight. They were all trying to get the tickets. Brendan and Rachel went to the travel agent to, get all of that stuff was happening in the overnight, which is why there was all the airline ticket drum. Right, it was the first thing on the show, John. Wow.
Well,
so no, it was in a hotel.
I didn't realize you don't sleep on The Amazing Race.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
You don't. You don't sleep on The Amazing Race, and you don't eat on The Amazing Race, is why the teams always take the food challenge, as they have told us, because you never have time to eat. So even if it's something disgusting, they'll most likely take the food challenge because they want some food.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's actually perfect because I don't like eating that much anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, but your leg. Although, I can't say that. I almost ruined the whole season. Right. So, what did you think of learning that the country girls said the whole reason they came on the race was to become friends with the cowboys?
Yeah, I think they got a crush.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What did you think, John?
Oh, they're just flirting. They're just in case they need help. I think they're very smart with using their feminine wilds to just flirt with everyone and just get help when they need it. That's all. It's all fun. It's just fun.
It's all fun. It's all fun with the country girls. Mm-hmm.
Y'all. It's all fun, y'all.
It is. So what did we think of the Buddhist monk blessing?
I loved it.
Take a spiritual... I loved it too. I never know how it fits into the race. It seems kind of oxymoronic. But go ahead. What did you think of it, John?
Well, the thing that I thought was, and I don't know I think it was the country girls that said it, you're racing, you're doing this, you're trying to get here, you're trying to get there, you're not sleeping and eating now that we've heard this from you, oh, Oracle of Knowledge, back knowledge.
Don't ever call me the Oracle.
The Oracle.
But I think it was nice to just stop. It was nice. They said, we can stop and kind of enjoy this the blessing. And you don't really think about that until you see it. So it was nice. It was nice. Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste. Do you like it too, Charles?
Yes. I have a large Buddha, actually 2 large Buddhas in my house. I'm very much into the Eastern philosophy, Taoism and Buddhism. So I loved it. I thought it was awesome to actually see another cultural, religious, spiritual type experience being shown on the show, and I really enjoyed it.
And God knows that we'll all laugh now because I'm getting this bit of info from the middle of the television show. But I studied other religions for a while earlier in my life. But what I loved about Buddhism was the whole thought process of see the thing in your life as broken, or that whole with the vase that breaks and the person's not upset because they always saw it as broken, and then that makes you appreciate it more when you have it. Oh, go ahead, John. Laugh at Buddhism. Let's talk about
I'm not laughing at Buddhism. I'm laughing at your interpretation because you certainly see things broken. Okay.
This is true. This is true to do.
You are
I liked
That's
it.
hilarious.
I was trying to be positive and happy with my
Is
Buddhism.
that what that looks like?
Yeah.
Happy with the Buddha. Okay.
Well, speaking of things breaking, let's talk about the detour. Spin control and fishing pole. So fishing pole, they had to perch up on those little sticks and go fishing, and spin control, they had to spin plates and dance.
Right.
John, you take control. What are your thoughts on detour?
Well, I definitely wouldn't have fished. I mean, whether we were on those sticks or not, because, you got to sit there and wait and wait and wait. I would have definitely done spin control, but I think that just them screaming, I'm not getting a bite. It's like, isn't one of the rules to be quiet while you're fishing so you don't scare the fish? I mean, I'm not a fisherman, but, call me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just thought,
crazy.
yeah.
Charles.
Well, yeah, I would never have done the fishing thing. I went fishing once when I was stationed in the military up in New York, and it was the most stressing, nail-biting experience I ever had. It was calming. No, it was not calming at all. I was so upset. I did not catch a fish, so I would have passed that up too. The dancing and the spinning, yeah, I definitely would have done that. And I can see why, the Globetrotter brothers, they went ahead and did that because it's kind of right up their alley. So,
yeah.
Go with the rhythm. Go with the rhythm.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't think on The Amazing Race you should ever do a challenge that involves, like, animals. Anything that you can't control, I don't know why you would pick that sort of a challenge on The Amazing Race. Like, something else might be hard, but why would you leave your fate in a fish biting your line? Now, if it was you, John, I could see you, like, yelling at the fish to, like, get on the line, like, get in the bag. I could see you yelling at the fish. That's probably why they were talking. They were implementing the John Richardson strategy.
You're a dildo. No.
Not happy today. Tom's not happy today. It's not playing. Well,
so you would scream at the fish, John?
I would. Yeah, damn bad, yeah, mother. No. I rarely agree with Eric, but no, I wouldn't rely on something else like a fish or an animal to choose my fate as far as that. As we saw with, the team that had to switch.
John and Jessica.
And Jessica, yeah.
They kind of not gave up, but yeah, switched halfway through. And I like John's inability to dance. It's also funny to me in the Amazing Race, like what's judged harshly and what's not. Like other seasons, God forbid, like I remember the Bollywood number, if your hand was not turned to like the perfect angle of the dance, they were like, nope, failed, do over. Yeah. This one, people are just like, step, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's very interesting. I also loved Brendan on this one, and it was like a wet t-shirt contest for the gays. Like, Brendan was all, like, white t-shirty. I loved it. I tweeted a picture of it, and it got a favorite and a retweet. But not by Brendan. So, you guys comment and let us know below what you think, what challenge you guys would have done, or what one you think is easier or harder. Now, I think we should just kind of acknowledge for 1 second here where Margie and Luke are standing. Because as we saw, and this part I don't understand, they fell way behind in the order of getting their tickets and somehow missed the plane or missed getting on the flight, and then they couldn't get on standby. It didn't really make sense why there wasn't enough spots for them. I don't get it. I still don't really get it.
Really? It was pretty simple.
But The Amazing Race always has enough, enough seats on flights to get people places. Because just from a production standpoint, they don't want to have to leave a whole entire crew behind a day and then be like, so I don't understand why they didn't get on any plane leaving the same day. It makes no sense. And then there was the creative editing of pretending like, oh my God, it was so close. It was not so close. They were literally a day behind. They didn't even happen in the same day, which is why when they check in at the end, it's nighttime. even though they were like racing during the day, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's nighttime and they're checking in. Don't worry about the editing.
Or the ending. All of a sudden, it just ended.
Yeah,
right.
just ended. It's like,
It was dark and ended.
which, for those of us that love Margie and Luke, that's why last week we got the whole sad storyline of the just keep going and Luke having his breakdown. Go ahead.
Constant breakdown and a pouty face, Luke. But, you know, the thing that I take from this, and you know, we've talked to other amazing race teams and people and stuff, and they're like, yeah, I'm not really watching this season, blah, blah, blah. If I was on the show, I would watch it in case I would be on All Stars, so I could kind of see what people should and shouldn't have done. In this case, take the chance and go to Singapore, do the connecting flight, right? Because we saw with Margie and Luke, they fell so far behind because they were waiting on standby and couldn't get on the flight.
Right.
Take the leap. Take the leap.
Yeah,
Exactly.
or they could contact us and we can mentor them as other racers have done other seasons.
That happens a lot. So there is a line, people. There's a number to draw.
There is. We also did shows with good tips, like how the racers should bring a pad and paper and just draw an airplane. Because like a taxi driver in any country, you might not know their language, but they would understand if you drew the picture of an airplane or a bathroom. And I'll also say, despite Margie and Luke's nice edit, I hear Luke did have a freak out in the airport, like a full-fledged chair-throwing meltdown in the airport that obviously wasn't shown. A little more behind the scenes.
A walking meltdown, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, she said that she was so proud of him for not breaking down, so I guess that was a big lie.
That's why I'm letting you all know.
Well, I think she meant at the end, right? Like he's broken down and melted down. I'm just so proud that you didn't melt down at the end. Like they cut that part out in editing.
My biggest problem with them is that they never seem to move with a sense of urgency in anything. They're always so, you know, like blah, you know, as they're walking around, whatever. I'm like, come on, you know, I mean, you're in a race.
Hello, does anybody know is this a pen? What is going on? I'm in a race. Does anybody understand?
Okay, well, to be fair, she's 60 and he's deaf.
Right.
I mean, there's a lack of urgency when you can't hear anything and you're racing with your 50, 60-year-old mother.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
True.
Maybe I'm too harsh. I'm sorry. Mark.
Well,
hilarious.
I will say Luke is playing his own violin on Facebook these days, where he's saying the reason they were eliminated was because of that last challenge. He didn't feel it was fair that he didn't have a choice in the last challenge, last episode, meaning he couldn't do the challenge because he can't hear.
Right.
And thus he said that's what put him so far behind.
Right.
And so he doesn't think that it's fair. But one could make the argument, you know, the Globetrotters couldn't do that one because they were too tall. Remember, flights. Yep. So I mean, you know what you're signing up for.
How can you complain about that when you weren't even eliminated in that particular episode with that challenge, right?
But he's saying he didn't his defense, not my defense, is he didn't have a choice. He had to pick the one thing that really delayed them and pushed them into second to last, the last episode, and whatever.
Could have poured those drinks right the first time.
Seriously.
Nobody said you had to do it 35 times.
Yeah. And as John is a good example of the gays in that you should know how to pour a drink, Luke, okay? Because we also found out that you were gay last episode, and you should know how to make some cocktails, do them, and have good hand play is my point. Luke, okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, so anything else that either of you want to talk about those detours, or should we move on to speed bumps?
Well, the speed bump was just the silk screening, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just the silk screening. I was just going to say another fun fact, since we know Rachel, she's very crafty. The second I saw it was silk screening, I was like, she got it. I know Rachel silk screens. She's brilliant at it. I knew there would be absolutely no problem with Rachel silk screening, and I was right.
Exactly. You can do that pretty quick.
I mean, in general, silk screening isn't hard. You're just putting ink down and doing this. But I know that Rachel is super huge on crafts, so, you know, I think she should be good at silk screeniness.
Oh, she flew in it. She completely aced it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I loved seeing Rachel do it. So then we have our final roadblock called A Stitch in Time Saves 9. I love when they have their little puns of their, you know, all of their challenges. So what did you think of it, John?
I thought the fishing was bad until I saw the shirt making. Like, are you kidding me? I would have just been completely lost. As gay as I am, you would think this would be an easy challenge for me, but it's not.
Yeah.
No. Oh my God, I would have been crying.
How would you have done in the sewing challenge, Charles?
I would still be there in Sri Lanka right now.
We both would be.
Oh no!
In fact, Charles is coming to us from Sri Lanka, right?
I'm still in Sri Lanka.
Now I don't. They needed to do like a crossover with what is that with Project Runway? We needed like a Tim Gunn being like design racers,
or even like RuPaul's Drag Race, right? Like even those girls can like stitch up a dress really quick. But I mean, even trying to figure out the collar, I was just like even watching Brendan, and then you could see some of the dark stitching on the white, and he's like, I hope this is good. And then the guys seem to be fine. Oh, all good, everyone's good. You know, so good.
Yeah. It was good. And what was with I was gonna say Leo. Because I went Luke, then Leo, then I went Cleo, but I don't know if it was Leo or Jamal, but being like the 1,000 rupees, and he just kept saying it. Like, I know that he said it will anyone do it for 1,000 rupees, but then he just kept saying 1,000 rupees, and I didn't get it. It's like I was missing a reference to something. I don't know.
He was saying like he was gonna sell it.
Yeah. The worst bribe attempt ever.
Well, and I wonder if they're allowed to. That is something we need to ask one of the racers. If you have money, because we saw, actually, but I guess not to do a task, because we kind of saw the Globetrotters tell the bus driver, here's extra money, don't make any stops, take us right to the check. And I wonder if you could pay someone to help you do a challenge. That's a good question. We have to find that out. How much, here, I'll see John or Charles, I'll see which one of you are closer. How much money in US do you think 1,000 rupees is? John?
I think it's $10.
What do you think, Charles?
I say 50.
It is 16, or like $16.20 something cents.
Wow. Okay, I'm way off.
Yeah, there you go. John wins. John, congratulations.
I never win, Charles. I never win.
Hey, John.
Thank you.
And don't worry, the camera won't be on you for your win. So, kidding. I'm kidding. Oh, we're just kidding. So, Michael Riccardi, let's take a question or two, says, honestly, is there some form of security? I mean, they just run around. I think it would be scary in some of these countries. No, there is no security that I'm aware of, just the production teams when, just productions. But I don't know, like, what would they really be afraid of? What do you think they'd be afraid of, John?
No clue.
You have no clue, so that's a no but?
Michael, are you drinking? It's like noon on the West Coast.
Which is where you are. All right, here.
Security's here? Okay, I gotta go. Security's here. Security.
Yeah, maybe he's talking about you, and maybe all right, here's another one. He says, Luke and his mom should have done the flight Brenchel was on. I would have never risked waiting for 2 extra scenes. Oh, is Michael implying that Margie and Luke were trying to get more airtime by doing it the way they did it?
So he's calling them media whores, is what he's saying.
Maybe.
Nice.
Well, and to be fair, if somebody is praising Luke, it's not like he can hear it. So
How do you know you're going to get more scenes? I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think.
Michael, strike 2. Want to just go for 3 strikes? Michael's out. Here's his last
Michael,
question.
put down your bottomless mimosa.
Yeah. Hold on. Here's our strike 3 to get Michael out. He says, I'm starting to think, right, that Connor and his dad are going to win. They're just so good. Well, at least Connor is. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people feel that way. I sure hope not, because nope, I hope not. Don't want him to
Well,
win.
also Connor's dad
Yeah.
had a thing with his foot too, and he had to have surgeries and all that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, Achilles tendon or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
an
so-
Achilles tendon, and then it also was not helped out by the show, which I'm assuming might have happened to Charles, but then was brought back. So you never know, Charles. Maybe they'll bring you back.
Maybe they
like I
will.
said,
Yeah.
I want a Charles Jesse season. It's what I want. Cindy Jansen says, Eric, do you have any insight you want to share with us? I think I did. I think I gave you all of the behind the scenes that I knew for this episode. You know what I should do? And then we can take some more questions. Why don't I let everybody know where the racers placed on me broken iPad? Okay. First is Dave and Connor. Second is Country Whatevers. Third is Jet and Cord. Fourth is Leo and Jamal. Fifth is Jessica and John. Sixth is Flytime and Big Easy. Seventh is Brendan and Rachel. And out are Margie and Luke. So that being said, what are we thinking of next week? Charles, are you someone who watches the coming attractions, or do you like to be surprised?
I like to be surprised. Yeah, yeah. I'm like a big fan of like The Walking Dead, so I don't even like watching the previews or anything like that.
Too.
Yeah, I want to wait. And besides, my wife will kill me if I tell her about any of the previews. So I like experiencing it right as it's happening. So it's the same thing with The Amazing Race. I watch it right when it comes right on.
Okay, brilliant. Then maybe earmuffs for John's answer. John.
I didn't watch the coming attractions either. So.
That was a great show. So I'll fill you guys in. Looks like next week there's going to be some drama with Brendan and Rachel. That's all I'll say. It just looks like the start of maybe the bad Brendan and Rachel edit that I've been saying has to be coming is starting next week as Rachel runs into traffic and starts fighting with cabbies, is all I'm saying. It's very funny for those of us that watch it. So, Charles, we've been guessing all season. We kind of change our answers sometimes. Who is your pick to win the season? Or, like, who would you want to win versus who is your pick to win if you kind of have two? What are your thoughts?
Okay, right now I'm a tie right now for the Globetrotter brothers and the Cowboys. I like the Cowboys. They're funny. I find them funny anyway. So, but you know, the Globetrotters, they're representing my team. I'm from Harlem, so I want them to win. Yeah, I really like Big Easy to win. So, yeah, that's who I'm rooting for. But if the Cowboys come in and they take it, you know, it wouldn't bother me either.
So you want both of them to win, and they are also the people that you say you think are going to win. You're the same on both. Okay, good. John, since I will let you change your answer if you'd like.
Oh, that's so nice of you. But I'm not. The Afghanimals are hilarious. I love the playing to the crowds. I love it all. They're great. I think they're going to win.
I know. I have to say, I want Brenchel. Of who's left, I would want Brenchel to win or Leo and Jamal to win. I want Brenchel to win just a touch more than Leo and Jamal. Who do I think is going to win? At this point, it's looking like Brendan and Rachel, and I think maybe they're lying to us. I mean, not that they would have said anything, because they wouldn't have, but I'm just saying, that's who I'm saying. I think a Brenchel is going to win this season. Michael is following up with you, John, and is saying, hey, you could get robbed in some countries. And he is also saying, if they had a drag queen gay, they would have made a whole outfit instead of just the shirt. And lastly, because he likes to comment in threes, he's saying he's a Cali boy and he drinks all day.
Amen. Amen. Do you see? I called it.
Right. Exactly. Cindy Jansen is also saying in the chat that it's $7, or maybe that was her guess. I thought maybe she was saying it was her guess. Okay, no, it's like 16.25 or something, I believe.
Right.
So, final thoughts on this episode or this season, or what are we all looking forward to? John, I'll let you go first.
I'm just looking forward to some more crazy challenges. And like, what you said about next week's episode, I'm already wanting it to be here now. So, Rachel's very entertaining. Of course, we don't like to see people break down, but then it also kind of makes good TV too. So running in the street, yelling at cabs. I want to see it, and I can't wait.
Okay. Charles, what are you looking forward to?
What I'm looking for is someone having a mental breakdown. I love watching that. I want to see the mental breakdown. So I can sit back at my home and just talk smack about this person on television. What are they doing? That's why I watch reality shows, So yeah. If I get someone to break down, my day is made, so.
Well, this just in, hot off the presses. I have a feeling you're going to get your request real soon with Brendan and Rachel. Give it about 2 more weeks for the full-fledged crazy, but I'm telling you it's coming. You heard it here first.
All right, I'm going to hold you to it.
Cindy Jansen is saying, no, in India it is $16, but in Bangladesh it's $7. Where is it 50 so that Charles can be right as well, is what I want to know. Then we're all correct. Fine. I would say, I guess that about wraps up our amazing race recap for this week. However, since we have about 5 minutes, why don't we talk a little bit more opposite worlds then with you, Charles, since we have you here. Okay. I don't want to let you go without saying anything. So is there anything that you want to get off your chest? Anything that you want to say about your experience on opposite worlds that you feel is not being represented or not out there? The floor is yours.
Okay, well, the biggest problem I had with Team Epoch after I left was how they threw Wyatt under the bus. That right there, Wyatt was my partner in this. We're both military guys, so we kind of connected before, behind the scenes, type thing. So I didn't like how he just got thrown into the actual challenge without really being told. He kind of had an idea, but they were supposed to inform him literally that he was going to go in, and the way they did it, I didn't like it. I do think, possibly he may have given up in the actual competition with Jesse. Kind of looked that way when because he was actually ahead of Jesse, and then all of a sudden he just kind of, and I've had lunch with Wyatt twice, and I've tried to get him to to spill the beans, and he hasn't really said too much in that regard, whatever. But I personally think, he's a good guy, and I actually, we were talking about Amazing Race for lunch the other day, last week. And we discussed
who's his team? Who's his team to win?
Well, I know he didn't discuss who he wanted to win, but he was discussing that he would like me and him to put in for the Amazing Race.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, I told him, I say, listen, as soon as I'm healed, hey, I would definitely go for it. So, the doc is saying another 3, maybe 4 weeks that I should be completely, back on my feet. So, hopefully that's the case, but. We
need a Twitter campaign then. Charles and Wyatt. We need a mashup names. Churret or
Churret.
Wiles for Amazing Race. Churret or Wiles, Amazing Race 25. I would totally love to see that. Wyatt, what did he say that we were, having fun with him about? Oh, he said that it was divine intervention, that the reason he just stopped was because he felt God working through him, telling him that he needed to go home. And that was his that at the time the day after his elimination. That's what he says his reason for doing that challenge was. Yeah, it's hard. I think it's hard in that show. You guys were thrown in. I don't think the rules were very clearly laid out. Maybe they didn't even know the way this show is going, as we see just people, whatever. It was a very crazy show. I did love it. I hope they do it another season and tweak out all these little points from this season that might not have been so good. John? What? Oh, I thought you had a point to make, no?
Yeah, he's just laughing.
Okay.
You're just so funny. You're so entertaining, Eric.
Oh, thank you. I try. We are hosting a show, so Right. So, was there any challenge that you wish you would have been there for, or when you were watching it, you would have loved to competed in this or that, or?
Oh, good question.
Actually, the last event, I would have loved to have been there. The last event, I think I would have taken Frank, honestly. And that last competition, I understand JR was hurt, but I think I could have taken Frank if we had both been there for that last competition.
Yeah, I don't think JR was really hurt anymore at that last competition. We heard, I think Frank told us they made him run around the table 10 times. He had to do a whole bunch of stuff to prove that he wasn't really injured, or was at least well enough to do that challenge. So right. I think he might have been playing it up for the strategic ness of being oh, I'm hurt, which is brilliant. It's exactly what I would have done. I would have been oh, I can't. And then I would have killed it. But it was made for Frank. At the end of the day, it was like a Donkey Kong setup, and Frank is like Donkey Kong, so he could just plow up that thing, smash it, avoid the fireworks burning him, and he was fine. I still don't know how he survived that one. Well, I guess that about wraps up our show then for this week. I am going to let you guys do your outros. John, why don't you go ahead and go first?
Hey guys, thanks so much. Always fun talking about Amazing Race. I'm so glad Charles is here with us finally. You can follow me at Comedy Jonah.
Brilliant. Go ahead, Charles.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm a big fan of The Amazing Race. Hopefully I can convince Wyatt to go ahead and be my partner. Maybe we can get in there, start a Twitter campaign, right? Yes. You can follow me at charles.haskins1 on Twitter, and the same thing on Facebook. And I look forward to maybe talking with you guys again.
Awesome.
You definitely will, and the links will be below to message, to tweet, to follow Charles on Facebook, of course, for our Kickstarter as well. And don't forget, thumbs up and subscribe. Check out those Amazon links. And John and I will be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern for our Bravo recap show, where we just have a ton to fill you guys in on that. So we will see you all then. That's all for today. See you guys all tomorrow, and on Twitter. I don't think there's anything we're live tweeting tonight, right, John? Oh, maybe I'll tweet Beverly Hills. Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.